All right, here we are. It's Sunday, June 8th, 4:25 p.m. I know it's a little weird, but it's been a long weekend, long week, good week, but a long week. And it's raining right now, so here in Reisterstown, Maryland, so that's okay. So I figure why not just go ahead and do it now because I didn't do it yesterday. And I keep thinking that, Sunday is probably the best time for me to do these because I'm more awake. I'm not worn out, but always doing stuff here. So we'll see what happens. Next Sunday is Father's Day. So we'll see what happens after that. So we'll see if we keep doing this or I keep going back to Saturday or whatever. But doesn't matter right now. This is a brand new episode of Dylan Knows, episode 610. Graduation day, and I'm still yawning even though it is 4:26 p.m. here on a Sunday, June 8th, 2025. My daughter is a high school graduate. That was a big story this week. She graduated from high school on Wednesday. We went to see the Hippodrome version of Chicago on Friday, and we went to her graduation party at my in-laws' house on Saturday. She is presently at her boyfriend's graduation party, and my son was just at a birthday party, even in the rain, in the pool. It's been a good weekend. This upcoming week is the final week of school for my son. He's going his exams this week and then half day Friday, half day next Monday. But if he finishes exams, there's no reason that we're going to send him to school for the half days because nothing's going on those days. Those are more just for makeups for people who miss the exams. Life of Chuck comes out on Friday nationwide. It's also Friday the 13th, next Friday. The 10th or 11th is the Strawberry Moon coming up here. My next class order is due on the 13th at work, so I'll be working on that all week this week. And then it's Father's Day weekend, and we're not going to talk about what's going to happen in Washington on the 14th. We'll just say it is Flag Day, but there is something shitty happening on the 14th, and I'm hoping to God that we get a massive rainstorm that will wipe the bitch out. So let's see if that is in case. Please, please, please. 55% chance of rain on Saturday, so that's a good chance. So we'll see how that goes. So hopefully that would be great. I would love if it got rained out. I would laugh my ass off. So what do we got going this week? A lot of anniversaries, a lot of death. New Fortnite season came out this week. I'm okay with it. Oh, Jesus. Why am I doing this? It's always when I'm on the show that I'm yawning. Some Dogma stuff. Halloween is starting to creep out with a couple of Halloween stories coming up here, so that's good for me because I love myself some fall. But real quick, I went to the Circle K, which is the exclusive for the Mountain Dew Infinite Swirl, which is pineapple berry, which is what I got here. So let's take a. This is not paid. I'm just doing this on my own. I paid for this on my own, and I'm doing it because I'm interested. Right off the bat, get a little bit of interesting flavor. So this should be, here we go. Actually, not too bad, actually. It's only available at the Circle K. That's interesting, though. That's actually pretty damn good. This Infinite Swirl pineapple berry. You didn't think it would be, but it's pretty decent. I kind of like it. Might have to stop at the Circle K more often. So we got that. We got the Summer Breeze one coming out in a couple weeks. We got the new Walmart exclusive Dragon Fruit one, which I'm going to try here soon, too. So that's actually really damn good. I like it a lot. It's pretty good. But yeah, so Noelle graduated. She had her nice party with her friends, stuff like that. We had good weather, supposed to rain, but it didn't. My sister-in-law made the cake. Had my mom, my dad, my stepmom, my uncle, my aunt, my other aunt, from my side of the family, and my wife's side of the family. Please stop yawning. So pretty decent. And then the Chicago was very well done at the Hippodrome. This is the trifecta of our Chicago experience. We watched the movie in January, and then her high school did the teen version of Chicago, which she was the stage manager for, end of March. And then we saw it in the Hippodrome professionally. So a couple highlights real quick. There was a one dude during the song Roxy that did a complete handstand on stage and walked on his hands with his legs straight up over towards Roxy. That was crazy. The singer who played Billy held a note for about 2 minutes, which got lots of press. And the guy who played Amos played Fester Adams in the Addams Family musical, and he looks and sounds the part of Fester Adams. So he was a decent Amos. He's much better probably Fester, but it was fun. Not bad at all getting down there on a Friday night, getting into the theater. The parking garage we used was right into the theater, and we just walked down and we were in the theater, paid at the door, so we didn't have to wait to pay. Only problem was everybody was trying to get out at the same time, and there were a bunch of assholes who weren't letting me out because they were trying to get out. So dickheads, whatever. So that's good. The new Fortnite season dropped yesterday, actually. Yesterday was also the live event, which ended the mini Star Wars season. And this one is a 2-month-long season called Super, which is going to be running coinciding with the June, July, coincide with the new James Gunn Superman movie. So we got the new James Gunn Superman skin. We got a crypto thing which you can draw crypto in to destroy builds and hurt people if you want to, and then he flies away. Brought back some old school weapons we haven't seen in a while and introduced a couple new ones. It's a very My Hero Academia sort of feel to it, with the battle passes. Superman and Batman, or not Batman, Robin are the main skins, but then the other ones are all brand new skins. Those are all different types of superheroes, and you can get various items from around the island that uses those powers that they have. So that's pretty interesting. I enjoyed so far. I got 2 wins today, so I've already got a couple wins here today, of the second day of it. So I played it. I downloaded it last night, and I played it from about midnight to about 2 a.m. Yesterday, so that was pretty cool. So that was good. Jon M Chu confirms that new songs for Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo were written by Steven Schwartz for the sequel to Wicked. So there's going to be some new songs that were not in the musical that are going to be only in the movie, made directly for Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. And on top of that, the new Wicked trailer from the movie coming out in November was released, and it looks absolutely awesome. So that should be a good one to take a look at with that. Dogma has gotten 0 death threats and very minimal protests on its re-release in movie theaters, which is a lot different than what happened 25 years ago. So that was good for them. So that's pretty good. Back in January, the Big Bear Eagle Nest live stream cam watching the eagles there with their newborn babies was something that my wife was obsessed with. This week, the eaglets, all grown up, are flying away. They are leaving the nest, so kind of depressing. So the streaming showed them leaving the nest. My wife hasn't watched them since, but we'll see what happens. That's pretty cool. The Old Guard 2, sequel to Old Guard, is finally going to be released on July 2nd on Netflix, or Amazon Prime, which is very good because that would be nice to see that. It's been a while since the movie was made, like 2 years ago. Bonnie Wright, who played Ginny in the Harry Potter movies, will be arriving at the Baltimore Comic-Con on October 17th through the 19th of this year. A few years ago, they brought in the actor who played Neville Longbottom, Matthew Lewis. So apparently it did very well, so they're bringing in Ginny for that as well. Cillian Murphy is confirmed to be starring in the second and third parts of the 28 Years Later trilogy. The first part will be coming out on my birthday on June 20th. Speaking of Harry Potter, Tom Felton, who played Draco Malfoy in the original 8 films, has been tasked to reprise his role of Draco Malfoy in the Broadway version of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And Tom Felton lets drop that I am the same age as Draco is in the Cursed Child, so this just feels right. So he's going to be doing that, so that's going to be very good. Shin Godzilla is going to be re-released into movie theaters later this year. My son really wants to see it, and I'm actually intrigued by it also with the new love for Godzilla. It just makes perfect sense to bring that back out here. Luc Besson apparently has done a Dracula movie, and there was a trailer available. When I tried to get to it, I just couldn't get to see it, so I'm going to keep an eye out for that. But Luc Besson doing Dracula is a very interesting idea, and I'll take a look at that. Is Alex Wolf or something like that? I can't remember his name. Alex Winter, that's what it was. Alex Winter, who was part of the Bill and Ted with Keanu Reeves. He directed and starred in a movie called Freaks, which was didn't do very well. It's a very cult film, and Keanu Reeves does have an appearance in it. Well, they're getting a 4K remake of a restructuring of it, or a 4K remake to it's going to be the same movie. It's not a remake, but they are redoing it in 4K. So we'll probably be getting a 4K for that real soon. Sky Captain and the War of Tomorrow, another niche film, is getting a 4K film, a 4K release here very soon also. Ryan Coogler confirms Denzel Washington will be starring in his new Black Panther movie coming to Marvel in 2028. A live-action Care Bears movie is apparently in the works at the WB, so why not? Sophie Turner stars in the trailer for Trust, coming out August 22nd. It's a thriller, a survival thriller, as they call it. Andy Samberg and Jason Momoa are set to star in a Netflix action comedy, which sounds absolutely awesome. This is something for the Ravens people. Derrick Henry, our running back, who just got extended a couple weeks ago, so he'll be a Raven for the next few years. Had a phone call with Adam Sandler, and Adam Sandler said, if you can get 2,000 yards rushing this season, I will put you in my next movie. So let's get him that 2,000 yards. So pretty cool. So the first of 2 Halloween stories. Hallmark, which is the Hallmark Channel, which is known mostly for their Christmas movies, is finally dipping their toes into Halloween movies. They've got their first Halloween movie coming out a little later this year, obviously closer to Halloween, called Haul Out the Halloween. And it's going to star Lacey Chabert, and also is going to reunite the 2 actors from Halloween Town who ended up getting married. They played enemies when they were children in the movie, and ended up getting married in real life. So they will be starring in this film with Lacey Chabert. I think it is, from when I was reading the article, I think this Lacey Chabert is one of her recurring characters in the Hallmark Christmas movies. So they're finally doing characters that you're used to, like a Griswold sort of thing, but this is going to be their Halloween movie. So I don't watch the Hallmark movies, so I'm sure but it sounds like that's going to be like the next in the series of the Lacey Chabert family movies. But maybe Hallmark's a little smart that Halloween is a big deal also. So maybe they'll start doing that as well. A mini earthquake had hit Italy, and it partially collapsed a wall and a vault in Pompeii. Poor Pompeii, they just can't get a break. Guatemalan volcano erupted this week, one of many that erupted this week. A Earth Eater tornado hit Texas. This was one of the hugest tornadoes I've ever seen in my life. It nailed Texas on Friday, I think. A cow destroyed the roof during escape from a livestock auction. He didn't want to be auctioned off, so he escaped and destroyed the roof. I don't want to get really into politics, but because it's frustrating to me, but just this had to get in there because it's kind of pop culture-y. ICE detains Cabby Lane, the TikTok and Reel star who does where somebody tries to do this outlandish thing and he shows them an easier way of doing things, but they have detained him. So hopefully that won't last too long. Deaths this week, Enzo Staiola, who was the star of The Bicycle Thief from the 1930s. John Shulock, a former baseball umpire who is the one umpire's name I do recognize. Anniversaries, we had a big week for anniversaries. Goonies had their 40th anniversary this week. Ghostbusters, today is Ghostbusters Day. Ghostbusters and Gremlins both came out 41 years ago this week, actually today, June 8th, 1985. And the fictional Day Off and Ferris Bueller's Day Off, after many people did research, stuff like that, they believe the fictional day off that the movie is set in happened on June 5th, 1985, which would be the 40th anniversary of it this year, due to the fact that the Cubs game that they were at, and they were using the footage for the Cubs fans did some research, and baseball people did research and discovered that the Cubs had a home game against a specific team during the day with Lee Smith on the mound, and it narrowed it down, and it had to be, still during school time and when it was still warm out. So they narrowed it down to June 5th, 1985. And so I think they said they did film some scenes actually at that ball game, though he couldn't remember if that was the actual date of the game. But that is what people have been researching and believe is the case. So the 40th anniversary of the actual day of Ferris Bueller's Day Off was on my dad's birthday in 1985. Other anniversaries, Beyond the Spider-Verse, a debut 2 years ago this week. That'll be one of the movies I'll be watching during my week off, where I'm going to be watching all my movies. REM's fourth album, I think, or Fables of the Reconstruction, came out this week as well. Back in the 80s, couldn't tell you what the time was. Death's Prince Marky D, the founding member of the Fat Boys rap trio, died at the age of 52. Dennis Horges, actor from Boardwalk Empire, Daredevil, and Orange is the New Black, he passed away this week as well. Jim Marshall, a legendary Minnesota Vikings football player, died this week. Doug Eggers, a former Baltimore Colt, died this week. Tom Rafferty, longtime Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl champ, died this week as well. And Kadea K.D. Lewis died. She was the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta star, died at the age of 44 this week. Samuel L. Jackson is set to star in Nola King, the spinoff of Tulsa King. In order to set up the spinoff, Samuel L. Jackson will be guest starring in the new season of Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone. And then he'll be spun off into his own series called Nola King, obviously taking place in New Orleans. Aaron Rodgers has signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers finally, and I could not be happier because he's going to absolutely destroy that team. After signing his contract, he already said he's going to be taking a number of personal days. So I think they just screwed themselves. So couldn't happen to a better team. Very happy to do that. Mm-hmm. MGM Plus slates July 13th for the debut of their new show, The Institute, based on the Stephen King novel. Amazon is working on setting up and preparing to test humanoid robots to deliver their packages, which will take people out of their jobs, which sucks. The BBC will be making a Passage to India miniseries based on a classic E.M. Forster film novel. Christian Bale, we get our first look as Al Davis in the new Madden movie, and he looks like Al Davis. It's absolutely scary how much he looks like it. Amazon is producing a thriller called Alley Clash with Viola Davis. Ready or Not 2 has finished production, due out April 16th, 2026. The second Halloween story for this week, a Fallout haunted house will be joining the Universal Studios Halloween Haunted Nights in 2025. So that's good for that. Sandman 2 Volume 1 is set to debut July 3rd on Netflix. And a little later in the show, I'll give you the names of all of the episodes. They released that this week. Dogma 4K is set to be released in around Christmas time, according to Kevin Smith. Butterfly is a new series on Prime starring Daniel Day Kim, set to debut August 13th. Monty Python The Holy Grail is also getting a 50th anniversary 4K release set for August 26th. So that'd be good. Season 5 of Slow Horses has a 9/24 premiere date on Apple TV Plus, and they've got some new cast members I'll tell you about in a second. Yamper is coming to Pokemon Go on my birthday. He's the adorable little corgi that everybody loved when that series came out. And now he'll be making his way to literally on my birthday to Pokemon Go. His event starts on my birthday. Hooters closes 30 restaurants suddenly. We knew some of them were getting ready to get closed down, but not this quickly. 7 one-piece Lego. That doesn't sound right. The live-action TV show One Piece, based on the manga and the anime, has 7 Lego sets set to debut within the next year. So it's just 7 one-piece Lego sets. Yeah, it's like, okay, One Piece. There we go. I thought that's kind of funny. Nick Jonas is set to play Paul Stanley of Kiss in the biopic called Shout It Out Loud, which is going to start filming here soon. Due to come out next year, I believe. Attack of the B movies, the Mariana Trench trailer, which is basically someone goes in the Mariana Trench and discovers a giant underwater monster, blah, blah, blah. That's what you usually expect. We got our new Freakier Friday trailer. We get a little bit more of an idea what's going on. I think from what I gathered is Lindsay Lohan has a daughter, and she is getting ready to marry a guy who has a daughter also from a previous marriage. The daughter from the previous marriage speaks with a British accent, though what it sounds like is that she's faking it, that she's really not doing it. She's just being it to be a pretentious snob. And she does not want to be part of the family. Obviously, typical teenagers. Daddy left mommy, is joining another family I don't want to join. So for her bachelorette party, they go to this carnival and they invite the young girls with it to go with them. And they go see a fortune teller. And the fortune teller says that what has happened before will happen again, where they're all switching bodies. But this time, Jamie Lee Curtis, Lindsay Lohan, and the 2 daughters all switch bodies. And so the 2 girls the daughters who do not like each other and do not like that their parents are getting married, have decided that they're going to use their ability as being in the grown-ups' bodies to break up the potential marriage of their parents. So that's the general premise of it. It's kind of a reverse Parent Trap sort of thing going on. Obviously, we know what's going to happen. It's not going to happen. They're going to find out that they actually like being part of the family, blah, blah, blah. We know what's going to happen, but still very interesting. Unabomb. Russell Crowe, Jacob Tremblay, Shailene Woodley, Annabelle Wallace are going to be starring in a Netflix film based on Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber. It could be interesting, particularly with probably Russell Crowe playing the Unabomber, probably. Talking Heads, one of the members, a couple of members of Talking Heads, put some cryptic tweets out that a lot of people were anticipating was that the Talking Heads were going to be reuniting for a concert or whatever. It's never going to happen. People just get over it. David Byrne never will ever rejoin Talking Heads. That's just the way it is. He made an exception when they made it to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but that was it. They even asked him there. He said, fuck no, we're not doing this anymore. So everybody was like, oh, they're going to get back together. No, they were just releasing the first ever video of Psycho Killer, one of their more popular songs that stars Saoirse Ronan. And what makes this interesting is that Psycho Killer predates MTV. When MTV came out in, 82, 81, something like that. Psycho Killer came out in the 70s. And they never made a video for it. It's one of Talking Heads' most popular songs. So they made a video of it and released it, and that was the big news. So they're never getting together. Trust me. We're never, ever, ever getting back together. Trust me on this. David Byrne would rather die than rejoin Talking Heads. I don't know why, but it's not me to ask. We just need to tell you. Mia Goth is set to join Sean Levy's Starfighter Star Wars film with Ryan Gosling. So that'll be interesting to see her in there. And I'm ending this page also with a political thing. A 22-year-old ex-gardener and grocery store administrator is set to lead the U.S. Terror Prevention Group. The fuck are we doing? Jesus fucking Christ. We finally have the long-form official Alien Earth trailer. We've just been seeing lots of teasers here and there. The set debut August 12th on Hulu. This show actually looks fucking phenomenal. And it is an alien show, but there's a lot of other stuff going on, other stuff with other monsters and other aliens, stuff like that. It looks outstanding. This was the big week. The Nintendo Switch 2 was released this week. Still hugely expensive and probably sold out right now. They'll probably get a fresh shipment in for, I don't know, Christmas, probably. So we'll see what happens with that. But that is a new thing now. In the why are we doing this? You guys are so damn old. That's a great series. You don't need a third one. Young Guns 3, Dead or Alive, is starting production here really soon with Emilio Estevez coming back as Billy the Kid and directing it as well. I know we got at the end of Young Guns 2 that we learned that Billy the Kid faked his death and lived a prosperous life until the movie where he was an old man talking to a reporter. So I guess we'll see some of that. But you, Kiefer, Lou Diamond Phillips, you're all old, man. I mean, you're old. You're in your 60s and 60s and shit. Maybe even older than that. And you're trying to do this? Okay. We'll see. Blumhouse has acquired the rights to the Saw franchise, which is interesting because the guy who made the first one is James Wan, is on the board of Blumhouse. So that's pretty interesting that he gets the rights back. January 16th, 2026, The Rip will appear on Netflix. That's the Affleck and Damon movie that the trailer that was released during Tadum that was not released to the public has not been seen except for those who saw it. So we'll see that eventually, I'm sure. Blumhouse has also purchased the rights to make Phasmophobia based on the video game. They did a good job with Five Nights with Freddy, so why not? Nutella Peanut will be the first new Nutella flavor ever, set to debut in spring of 2026. It's basically the hazelnut spread mixed with roasted peanuts, which isn't that what Nutella is already? I don't know. Oh yeah, Heads of State final trailer set to debut. Well, it came out this week. The movie's set to debut July 2nd. It's the Idris Elba, John Cena as the president and prime minister action film. And they have to go up against terrorists, and they're the president and the prime minister of England. Mikey Madsen is set to replace Sydney Sweeney in the A24 remake of The Mask of the Red Death based on the Edgar Allan Poe thing. Sydney Sweeney just got too busy. We will tell you why. The main reason why she dropped it here later on in the show, because I don't think it's on this page. Yeah. Again, with Dogma, Kevin Smith, because he's been doing the rounds for the re-release of Dogma, has announced that he has broken the story for Dogma 2. So he is currently writing it right now and has his idea, and we'll see what happens with that. The Black Phone 2 trailer debuted, set to debut October 17th. This is a lot darker and gorier than the first one and a lot scarier as well. So good on that. Oh, there's a Sydney Sweeney thing. So Mikey Madsen is replacing Sydney Sweeney on The Mask of the Red Death because Sydney Sweeney just finished a deal with Amazon and our friend Jon M Chu, who I talked about earlier in the show, to do an adaptation of the video game Split Fiction, or it's either that or graphic novel, about like a multiversal sort of thing. Will be on Amazon Prime. Sydney Sweeney will star and produce, and Jon M Chu will direct, which is an outstanding group, though that does mean that Barbarella is going to be pushed back now, and I really want to see Barbarella. So we'll see what happens. But but this sounds good too. So Split Fiction could be really, really good as well. Goldfish Awesome Sauce flavor, a mustardy barbecue flavor, is going to be coming out here soon. And Hamburger Helper is now entering the spicy line with some spicy adaptations of their previous line. They'll add a little spice to it. And Snickerdoodles Twix is set for August of this year. We got our first, another Fantastic Four teaser. Didn't really show too much, but shows it looks like that it's going to take a span of time because we've seen Sue say she's pregnant. Then we've seen a picture of Sue pregnant looking into the baby crib. And then we've seen the baby. So it looks like it's going to span some time. Oh, this is still good. Oh my God, this is so good. So yes, we got that. The Back to the Future's Johnny B. Good guitar is missing, and Michael J. Fox is desperate for people to find it. Gerald Johnstone, who I think just did the Megan movies, is set to direct a live-action Monster High movie. I told my daughter about that, and she kind of lost her mind about that. She thought that's going to be really cool. Ryan Reynolds and Colin Hanks' documentary about John Candy has been accepted to kick off the Toronto International Film Festival this year. So that's really good news. Donald Logue, Lily Taylor, Ray McMullen, and Martindale are joining the Prison Break remake. All right, so we just have, real life stuff, no more pop culture stuff. A zebra is on the loose in Tennessee and has been on the loose for 4 days now. A wild elephant raided a grocery store in Thailand this week as well. Finland is instituting a 4-day work week and a 6-hour day, and that's from the 34-year-old prime minister. And that's fucking awesome. I love Finland. Yes, it would be dark a lot and cold, but you get the northern lights all the time. They have universal health care. They have a 4-day work week, 6 hours days. That's fucking awesome. I'll do that as last. A body found floating in Clearwater, Florida in 1993 that could not be identified finally was identified when they ran their DNA against 18th century ancestral notes. So they ran it through like an ancestry.com sort of thing. And this DNA of this person goes back all the way to the 18th century. So they were able to break down some stuff, do some investigating, and find out who is the actual person who died because of that. Anniversaries, Cruella. Oh, no, not yet. A rare 19th century condom goes on display at a museum in the Netherlands. I didn't know they had condoms back then, but obviously they weren't done in plastic. It looked like a bag was put over, a little mini bag was put over the, and I guess it was attached somehow because it was open-ended like the condom, and it wasn't like rubber banded, so it wouldn't stay on there. So it must put something on there, but it's basically like a sack that they put around it. So I guess that makes sense. So they had condoms back then. I did not know that. A lion killed a businessman at a luxury safari lodge in Nambia after he stepped out of his tent to use the bathroom. And that sucks. So yeah, that the Ghost in the Darkness story about 2 lion attacks in Africa in the 1920s is another one of my movies I'll be watching during my summer vacation. 21 days and counting. 21 days and counting, 12 days to my birthday, 7 days Father's Day. So you got to love it. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban came out 21 years ago this week. If I remember correctly, this one was number 6. Half-Blood Prince, I think, might have been also. And the last Harry Potter movie were the only ones that came out during the summer. All the other ones were in November. I think the Half-Blood Prince came out in the summer. Don't quote me, and I'm not going to look at it. It doesn't matter. But Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban came out 21 years ago this week. Poltergeist debuted in 1982. That would be 43 years ago. You all know the conspiracy theory about that. It was directed by Tobe Hooper and produced by Steven Spielberg, who also I think co-wrote the screenplay. And everybody claims that Steven Spielberg directed the movie and not Tobe Hooper. And they use various clips from the movie to show very Spielbergian-esque directing things. But from what people have been saying, the truth of the matter was Tobe Hooper was kind of out of his element, and Spielberg was on set most of the time just off camera and was saying, maybe telling him where to point the camera or how to do it or whatever. But he in the end, it was his own decision to do it, Tobe Hooper. So we'll see. But that was an interesting one. Bruce Springsteen's been getting railed by the stupid ass, fucking dumbass, shit face, shit eating, dickless, heartless, brain dead traitor fuckbag MAGA people for daring to make bad comments about Dear Leader. But his Born in the USA album came out 41 years ago this week. One of the best albums out there, and a song that is vastly misunderstood by many people, including Ronald Reagan, with Born in the USA. And Cruella debuted 4 years ago the week. That was a live action one with Emma Stone. Deaths, Shigeo Nagashimi, Japanese baseball legend, died this week. And Tim Latorno, who was a co-creator of The Sims, died this week as well. Next page. So I got a page and a half left. Noah Wiley and Kobe Smulders both joined the cast of The Lincoln Lawyer for season 4. Maggie Lawson is set to join the Blue Bloods spinoff. The Carrie cast has been set for the Amazon TV show. Matthew Lillard, Summer Howell, Samantha Slayton, Allison Thornton, Talia Burbank, Sierra A. Gudari, Amber Midthunder, Josie Totem, Anthony Conti, and Jamie Quieto are set to be in the cast. Jim Cameron, who I thought after he's doing the last Avatar movie was going to do the Ghosts of Hiroshima as his next movie. Well, apparently that is not the case. He has bought the rights to the novel The Devils, and he will be making that his next film. He'll be writing the screenplay for that. Ghosts of Hiroshima is still on his list, but he's probably going to do The Devils first because I don't think it's as high profile as Ghosts of Hiroshima is going to be. So he's got that as well. Yes. So it's about how Halloween has been making an appearance. Here's a Thanksgiving thing. Ever wonder what to do with your Thanksgiving leftovers? Well, someone came up with the idea of putting the stuffing and I think the potatoes and something else into a blender and blending it into a soup, putting it into a waffle maker, make a top and a bottom like a waffle sandwich, and then putting the turkey and cranberry sauce and I think the gravies in the mix as well. So you're eating just the turkey and like the cranberry sauce, or maybe the cranberry sauce is also in the waffle thing, but it's just you have all the accoutrements in the waffle. You put the turkey in between, you get yourself a waffle turkey sandwich. It's an interesting idea. My brother-in-law loves Thanksgiving stuff, so that's interesting. Oh yeah, the trailer for the attack, their hunt for the attack on London, hunting the 7/7 bomber documentary that's debuting on Netflix later this year. A trailer for it came out. I remember because I was working at Diamond when that happened, and I was on the phone with our Diamond Comics England branch, and they were talking about how the bus explosion that was part of this was about 2 blocks away from their office. So that was kind of an interesting day. So that looks like an intriguing documentary. Netflix does a really good job with their documentaries. So I'm going to check that out as well. We Were Liars trailer set to debut June 14th. June 11th or something like that movie. I'm not sure. I can't read that really, but it's right there. A Big Bold Beautiful Journey trailer with Margot Robbie and Colin Farrell. We got to see the first trailer. It's definitely a very interesting idea. It's about these strangers that meet up and somehow go into the desert and have like a vision quest where they go and take a look at all the mistakes they made in their lives and how they can try to set it. It's a really dreamlike quality sort of movie and looks kind of interesting actually. So we'll take a look at that later on. Artificial, Andrew Garfield is set to star in the AI movie, in this AI movie. Ryan Reynolds' R-rated comedy Animal Friends has been moved to 2026. So we had an Icelandic volcano erupt again this week. We had a Japanese volcano erupt this week, and we had the Italian volcano Mount Etna, as well as the Guatemalan volcano erupt all this week. So we had massive amounts of plate movement and volcanoes erupting over the last few. This week alone is crazy. Oh, I already did that one. So that's crazy. Excuse me. Mattel combines its TV and movie production companies into one production company called Mattel Productions. And they are not their own country. The Orioles bird has been named the number 10 sexiest mascot in Major League Baseball. Number 10 still. It's in the top 10, but still kind of sucks that it wasn't up higher. The Wrong Paris is I think it's a movie. Set to debut on Netflix on September 12th, starring Miranda Cosgrove and Preston Fody. Basically, it's about a woman who is desperate to go to France, so she decides to join a reality dating show that's set in Paris. But when she gets accepted and gets the tickets to go to the set, it is not in Paris, France. It's in Paris, Texas. So we'll have to see how that, of course, it's a rom-com. So, she's probably going to fall in love with the guy anyway on the dating show. So, but we'll see. So I don't know if it's a TV show or a movie. It sounds like you could probably just put that into a movie and then be done with it. Sounds about, like a one-note joke sort of thing. Nick Mohammed. Oh, so good. Who played Nate on Ted Lasso, is set to join the cast of Slow Horses. So good for him. He's also doing that show with Orlando Bloom and Bryce Dallas Howard as well. The Barn Part 3, which is a series I never heard of before, but I brought it up because William Ragsdale has been cast in that. For those who don't know who William Ragsdale was, he was in the original Fright Night, which is a great horror comedy, and was also in Herman's Head, which was one of my favorite shows from the 1990s, I think late 80s, early 90s, where I met Jane Sibbett, and she was very attractive. Colorado River hikers caught Bigfoot on film. It's So that's interesting to see that Bigfoot is still being caught on film periodically. So I said earlier in the show that July 2nd or July 3rd is when Sandman Season 2 Part 1 comes out. They're going to release the first 6 episodes then, and then the last ones are coming at the end of July, I think, for Part 2. But here are the titles that they announced for all the episodes. Starts off with Season of Mists, The Ruler of Hell, More Devils Than Vast Hell Can Hold, Brief Lives, The Song of Orpheus, Family Blood. That's going to be volume 1. Those are the first 6 episodes. Real quick before I hit the other one, Season of Mist was the name of the next big story arc in Sandman that they're supposed to cover, and the next 2 Rulers of Hell and More Devils Than Vast Hell Can Hold are going to be connected to that as well. Brief Lives is the next storyline after that one. The Song of Orpheus was a one-off, one-shot that they did before, which is kind of interesting about his son. And then Family Blood, I couldn't tell you what that's about. The second batch of episodes, Time and Night, Fool for the Time, The Kindly Ones, Long Live the King, A Tale of Grace, A Tale of Graceful Ends, and Death, the High Cost of Living. Again, looks like the time things, I'm not exactly sure what that's about, but they're probably going to be connected. The Kindly Ones is the final Sandman storyline that has a Sandman in it. Long Live the King and A Tale of Graceful Events is probably going to be the events of the Wake combined in that into 2 episodes. And then Death, the High Cost of Living was the mini series that starred Death as she took a day off from being Death and just living her life. So they're probably going to do a sort of, it was a 4-part miniseries, I think. So they're probably going to do a compressed version of that. So that's kind of cool. So that's going to be, so I'm, as a fan of Sandman, it looks like they're going to be covering a lot of the stuff. And I guess you have to rush it a little bit. So I guess I can understand why they're not going to do a season 3. I think they probably could if Neil Gaiman wouldn't have gotten into trouble that he did. I think a season 3 would have been good to sort of air out some stuff and maybe add a few other little things in there. But for the most part, it looks like they're going to cover everything we need to know about Sandman, and Morpheus and his family. So we'll see. So you're gonna have some good stuff if they're following a lot of the storyline like they did with the first season. You're going to have some good stuff coming up here, and then particularly with the names of the episodes, it's like, okay, they're going to be doing that, so that's good. Anniversaries. Ed White was the first American to walk in space 60 years ago this week. The Untouchables, the Kevin Costner, Sean Connery, Robert De Niro, Brian De Palma film came out 38 years ago this week. X-Men First Class came out 14 years ago this week. Dead Poet Society came out 36 years ago this week. Deaths, Jonathan Joss, King of the Hill voice and Parks and Rec actor. He was also a gay actor, and what happened to him is absolutely awful. He and his partner, because he's a gay movie person, went back to their old house because they moved out of the neighborhood because they needed to pick up some stuff, and apparently their dogs were still there. They killed their dogs, left their skulls and bones scattered around their mailbox, and then when they went to pick up the mail, a homophobic shitbag came up and killed Jonathan Joss because he was gay. So that was a absolutely devastatingly horrific series of events. Welcome to Trump's America, you pieces of shit. John Brennis, a sports science show host and creator, died at the age of 54, ESPN show. And Weston Goza, who was the son of Whitney Purvis, who was a star of 16 and Pregnant, died at the age of 16. Her son died at the age of 16, and she was pregnant with during that show. Oh, well, I'm not taking any shit. It's 49 minutes in, and I'm almost done here. George Romero's daughter is directing a zombie film called Queens of the Dead, and that's going to be due out here really soon. We can get into the harder stuff here because, James Bond 007 video game is in the works from the Hitman creators. So that's interesting. We got our first look at Megan 2, which is coming out the end of June, I think. Andy Serkis and Tanaya Miller are set to do voices for an animated film called A Lamb Stew. Candice Bergen is joining an already stacked cast in Shrinking Season 3. Michael J. Fox was announced last week to be joining the cast. That includes Harrison Ford. So that's insane. Downton Abbey's grand finale trailer debuted this week as well. Downton Abbey's final movie and probably final Downton Abbey storyline that started in the TV shows, spread to the movies. We're now going to get the final grand finale of it, and the movie is coming out this fall, I think. The Talamasca trailer, the newest Anne Rice TV show, debuted this week. We got our first look at Dexter Resurrection trailer. Basically, it's an interesting idea that he was in Florida, has been in a coma, and a lot of heat is coming down on him about being the serial killer, which he's been trying to hide. And there's been more proof that he could be the serial killer. So he decides to move to New York to start over fresh. But then he ends up getting propositioned by a fellow serial killer played by Jessica Jones actress Kristen Ritter, who takes him to a house run by the midget from Game of Thrones. I forget his name. I can see his face, but he is a collector of serial killers, sort of things, and so a bunch of serial killers are to come. He wants to create sort of this serial killers justice league. So it's kind of an intriguing idea. So we'll see how that goes with there. Tokyo Cafe only has waiters with dementia as their employees, and it gives them a chance to, feel like they're being part of society. It is Japan, and the people in the restaurant, they're told straight up, you can tell them what you want, but they might bring you the wrong thing, and please be happy about eating it because we want them to be happy and healthy. And because the Japanese people are a lot better than Americans are, we're going to do that. So they're okay with that. Lady Gaga is set to guest star in Wednesday season 2. Antarctica has grown back 100 billion tons of ice in 1 year, which is very good considering we thought that climate change was really no return. It still could be, but this is a good sign that something's going to be being fixed here. Now, before we get to the final story of the week, so anniversaries. Total Recall debuted 35 years ago this week. Wonder Woman debuted 8 years ago this week. Death's Nico McKnight, the son of musician Brian McKnight, and he was a musician himself, died at the age of 32. Mike McCullum, Jamaican boxer, the Body Snatcher, died at the age of 68. Al Foster, jazz drummer, died at the age of 82. And Kobe Falls, also known as Anthony Cox, an Australian gay adult film star, died at the age of 42 this week as well. So just under an hour for this episode. Covered a lot of stuff. I don't think I missed anything. I did it real quick then. I didn't really do much commenting on it, I guess. And that's what it's been lately. But, maybe we'll get back to some commenting later on down the way. And maybe we'll get some longer episodes rolling through here. But for now, I'm sure it'll do a lot better. Get a lot more views here, being at 54 minutes. So the final story of the week is, again, showing how awful this country is because we are a shithole country. Some scientists created a hitchhiking robot, and they decided to do a social experiment by releasing the hitchhiking robot in Canada to see what would happen. So he made his way across Canada, being picked up by people and driven to locations and left and stuff like that. And he made it successfully without any harm coming to him, anything being stolen on him, anything happening to him, whatever. Comes to the United States. Does not survive Philadelphia. So I guess he gone from West Coast to East Coast and then probably came down and then went down to Philadelphia. And he was discovered, destroyed, beaten, crushed, and stuff torn off of him in Philadelphia. Way to fucking go. Gotta love your shithole country. All right, that is it for this episode. A pretty quick, tight, easy one. Next week will be Father's Day weekend, Flag Day. We're not going to talk about anything else that's happening on the 14th. Father's Day, my son's last day of school, the Strawberry Moon, and also the release of The Life of Chuck. And I think it's How to Train Your Dragon also coming out next week also, possibly. Good stuff rolling through here now. So thank you very much. Have a good, pleasant Sunday. Have a good upcoming week. Thanks for chilling with Dylan the Villain.